Welcome to Crime Over Wine Weekly. It's Monday, September 2nd. I'm Heather Holley, and these are your crime headlines. Adnan Syed is heading back to court after Maryland Supreme Court ruled to reinstate his murder conviction and ordered a redo of the hearing that freed him. The court ruled that the previous proceeding violated the rights of the victim's family because they weren't given enough prior notification. However, the justices did not order a change to Syed's release, meaning he can remain free until the lower court decides on the conviction. Syed was convicted in 2000 of killing his high school ex-girlfriend, Hai Min Lee. The case gained national attention after being featured in the podcast Serial. Syed maintains his innocence. A Las Vegas politician was sentenced to life in prison for killing an investigative journalist. A jury found Robert Tellis guilty in the 2022 murder of Jeff German. Prosecutors say Tellis killed the 69-year-old over his reporting of Tellis' alleged inappropriate relationship with a female staffer. Tellis will be eligible for parole after serving 20 years in prison. A Florida judge sentenced Wade Wilson to death for the 2019 murders of Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz. The judge said the aggravating factors in the case greatly outweighed the mitigating circumstances of Wilson's life. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Crime Over Wine Weekly. This episode is going to be a little bit different. I'm flying solo this week, so a little less back and forth, if you will, because I'm not going to be having arguments with myself in front of y'all. That's just embarrassing. But we will still be talking about a wine. Saving the wine that I originally had for me and Michelle to do, so we can still do that one together. And I'm just going to share one that I've had open at home this week that I've been enjoying. If you're a wine snob, plug your ears for a minute. You're not going to like this. It's the Sutter Home Family Vineyards Raspberry Iced Tea Wine Cocktail. So does that still technically count as a wine? It's a wine cocktail. It says our Sutter Home Raspberry Tea Wine Cocktail delivers sweet, tart raspberry flavors by blending deliciously sweet wine, real black tea, and natural fruit flavors. Pour over ice and enjoy a refreshing sip of summer. So we are slowly coming to the end of summer. I'm very excited for fall, for spooky season, for cooler weather. That is my favorite time of year. So just gonna have a quick sip of this. Yep, you heard me unscrew that bottle. I will be drinking straight from the bottle. It's one of those episodes. So now that it's been open a few days, it's a little more syrupy than when I first opened it, but it's still pretty good. Like you taste the black tea in it and you still have the aftertaste of a wine. So I enjoy it. It was very cheap. I think it was like $5 or something like that. It was a spur of the moment purchase. I'm enjoying it, and maybe you will too. Wine snobs, you can unplug your ears and rejoin the episode. Now we're going to switch gears and talk about the latest episode of Crime Over Wine. It's about Tina Snipes. She lived in Edisto Island, South Carolina. She had a daily routine that she followed religiously. That is until August 15th, 2018. Tina hasn't been seen since, and there are more questions than answers 6 years later. Liam breaks down every twist and turn in episode 65 of Crime Over Wine. Check it out right now wherever you get your podcast. And still to come on this episode, a young geologist vanished in Arizona 3 years ago. The evidence found just miles from his worksite, plus a Myrtle Beach missing persons case, is now a murder investigation. Who police arrested in Penny Whiteside's death this week?
Crime Over Wine is sponsored by BetterHelp. As someone who's used therapy for years, I know that finding a therapist can sometimes be a stress on its own, juggling your full-time job, your family, your friends, your podcast, and trying to find the right therapist on top of that can almost feel impossible. That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp matches you with a therapist that works for you on your terms. It's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to one of 33,000 licensed professional therapists in as little as a few days. And because finding a new therapist is a lot like finding a new bottle of wine, if you don't jive with your therapist, you can easily switch to a new one at no additional cost. You can get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp by going to betterhelp.com/crimeoverwine. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/crimeoverwine for 10% off your first month. Join over 4 million people who decided to get help and get happy with BetterHelp.
Welcome back. A Washington state mother is urging investigators to look into a possible sighting of her missing daughter. Tika Lewis was 2 years old when she was abducted from Tacoma Bowling Alley 25 years ago. Tika's mom, Teresa, told Fox 13 that her brother made contact with a woman who could be Tika while working at Home Depot. She says the woman came into the store and asked to use the bathroom. Teresa wants to see the Home Depot surveillance video to confirm the sighting for herself. The only possible clue in the case was a report of a maroon Pontiac Grand Am fleeing the bowling alley in January of 1999. Investigators say it almost hit another vehicle head-on. If you have any information, call the Tacoma Police Department at 253-798-4721. 3 years ago, a young geologist vanished after leaving a work site in the Arizona desert. Daniel Robinson was last seen in Buckeye around 9 a.m. on June 23, 2021. He was reported missing a day later. The 24-year-old was driving his 2017 blue-gray Jeep Renegade. It was discovered in a ravine on July 19th. This scene was less than 3 miles from the work site. Police found Daniel's clothes, cell phone, wallet, and keys on the scene, but there was no sign of Daniel. Weeks later, a human skull was found not too far from the Jeep. Testing determined it was not Daniel's. NPR spoke to Daniel's father this June. He believes foul play is a possibility. However, police don't think it is. Daniel's described as a black man who's 5'8". He has brown eyes and black hair, and was born missing part of his right arm. If you have any information about Daniel Robinson's case, contact Buckeye Police at 623-349-6411. A 2-year-old missing persons case in Myrtle Beach is now a murder investigation. Penny Whiteside's brother filed a missing persons report in May of 2022. According to the report, nobody in the family had seen or heard from the 51-year-old since January. Myrtle Beach Online reports Penny moved to the area in 2020. She and a roommate shared a home on First Avenue South. This property is where authorities found Penny's remains this year. Myrtle Beach police say neighbors made statements indicating the woman was buried in the backyard under a fire pit. Investigators obtained a search warrant on June 12th. And found the victim's remains. Police arrested Sheridan Fogle of South Carolina Thursday. He's Penny's roommate and charged with her murder. While Penny's death has been ruled a homicide, the cause has not been released. MBPD shared a statement that says in part, quote, "This is a tragic loss of life and a senseless crime of violence. Please continue to pray for the family and friends of the victim." Fogle made his first court appearance Friday, where his bond was not set. He's scheduled to return to court October 25th. Still to come on Crime Over Wine Weekly, a boy in Oregon disappears from his school science fair, and a teenager set to go on trial this month in the gruesome murder of her mom and attempted murder of her stepdad.
Hello, everybody. This is Liam Collins, the host of the podcast Crime Over Wine, and I'm about to make your Wine Wednesdays so much better. We know that there is nothing better than hanging out and listening to your favorite true crime podcast over your favorite bottle of wine, and that's where we come in. Every week, we share a new head-scratching true crime story while reviewing your new favorite bottle of wine. So your new true crime adventure is waiting for you. Crime Over Wine drops new episodes every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts. Get ready for that big test with Study.com. Study.com offers learning materials and test prep, even LSAT study prep guides for all of my legal nerds listening. Unfortunately, there aren't any wine study guides, and believe me, I did check. Listeners can get 30% off their first 3 months of any subscription level using the promo code CrimeOverWine. Again, that's promo code CrimeOverWine, no spaces, for 30% off your first 3 months at Study.com. Learn faster, stay motivated, study smarter with our sponsor, Study.com.
A 7-year-old Oregon boy disappeared from his school's science fair nearly 14 years ago. Today, his family is still looking for answers. Heron Horman was last seen the morning of June 4th, 2019. His then stepmother dropped him off at Skyline Elementary School in Portland. She took a picture with Chiron at the science fair, and this is the last known sighting of the little boy. Chiron didn't make it to homeroom and was marked as absent. Nobody knew anything was wrong until he didn't get off the bus that afternoon. A school employee called 911 and law enforcement started searching for Chiron within 30 minutes. The search grew to include local, county, state, and federal agencies, and it remains the largest single search effort in Oregon's history. Chiron will be 21 years old today. He's described as white, with brown hair and blue eyes. He has a distinct V-shaped birthmark on his forehead. There's a $50,000 reward for information leading to a resolution in this case. If you know anything about Kyron Horman's disappearance, contact the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office at 503-988-0560. It's been 28 years since an 11-year-old girl was last seen in Illinois. Trudy Appleby was last seen in the driveway of her East Moline home in August of 1996. A neighbor saw Trudy inside a silver 4-door box-type car with a white man in his 20s. He had dark brown curly hair and was wearing a ball cap. While 3 people have been named as persons of interest in the case, no one has ever been arrested or charged. If you have any information, call police at 309-797-0401. A Mississippi teen's murder case is heading to trial after the 15-year-old rejected a plea deal from the state last week. Investigators say Carly Gregg shot and killed her mother, Ashley Smiley, and then shot her stepfather, Heath Smiley, during a struggle. This all happened the evening of March 19th. Carly was 14 at the time. Investigators say Ashley went to her daughter's room and took some items out of the bedroom before Carly shot her twice in the face and once in the chin. Investigators say while the teen waited for her stepfather to come home, she asked a friend if they wanted to come over to, quote, see a dead body. According to police, Carly tried to ambush her stepfather when he arrived. He was shot in the shoulder, but managed to get the gun away from the teen before she ran off. Carly is being tried as an adult. If convicted, she faces a life sentence for murder and 20 years to life for the attempted murder and 10 years for tampering with evidence. If Carly had accepted the plea deal, she would have served 40 years in custody of the Mississippi Department of Corrections. And right now we're starting to see possible framework of the defense during pretrial hearings. In this case, the defense may point to Carly's mental health, stating she was taking Lexapro for anxiety and depression, and her medication was switched a week before her mom's death. The defense has also said in court that Carly has heard voices while behind bars. There's one more hearing scheduled for September 10th, before her trial is scheduled to begin on September 16th. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you can't get enough of Crime Over Wine, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to check out our website, crimeoverwine.com. Our store is officially open, and don't forget to sign up for the brand new newsletter. We'll see you this Wine Wednesday for an episode of Crime Over Wine, and we'll see you next Monday for the next episode of Crime Over Wine Weekly.
Proud member of the Podnuga Network.